Mascot Towers owners are facing bankruptcy. Let's have a look. Good morning, everyone. I'm Florian Heiser, and welcome to another episode of Heiser Says. Got my stein of coffee, and to be honest, this is the second stein of coffee I've had today. You know how it can be when you're in the middle of the week and it's, all guns are blazing. And I thought we'd have a look, a bit of an update about what's happening with Mascot Towers and the fact that some of the owners are facing bankruptcy. And this is really sad because people are getting stuck with these apartments. They're not able to rent them out. They can't even occupy them. They can't sell them. It's terrible. And there's a few articles I want to look at here. But really, what concerns me is a special deal that the body corporate took years ago from the builder. So, can't hold on. Cost crippling Mascot Towers apartment owners as timelines thrown out. The costs faced by apartment owners in the Mascot Towers complex are skyrocketing, with numerous owners contemplating bankruptcy. Damn. The cost to unit owners in the troubled Mascot Towers is set to reach new heights. A number of owners now face what looks to be a year out of the building. A year! Are considering declaring bankruptcy as they are left with few options. A year out of the building. Now, just imagine if you're a professional, like me, if you're an architect, and every year I have to do a whole bunch of paperwork to register with the board, and if I'm a bankrupt, I can't be an architect anymore. If you're bankrupt. So, you can't be a director in a business. This is one guy was actually trying to, he cheated me out of 15 grand. So I chased him up through QCAT and, I wanted everything. And I tried to go through ASIC to get him nabbed as a director who isn't meeting his obligations. So he would be in breach of the Companies Act and his responsibilities. And of course, they didn't give a damn. They didn't care. Nothing happened to it and he got away with the money. But, these things, like if you're bankrupt or if you don't pay a debt, hopefully they're meant to actually protect consumers in the long run from shonky operators. But in this situation, someone could lose a professional qualification that may be flagged by having to declare bankruptcy through no fault of their own. Through no fault of their own, really. Which is it's pretty gut-wrenching, honestly. So, emergency financial assistance for temporary housing, announced by the state government last week, has done little to ease the financial burdens faced by many owners. Well, yeah, that's true. They fear taking the money, exactly, which the government has offered as an interest-free loan will lead to ruinous circumstances for them. Yep, free money from the... Well, that's... how many people would trust if the government starts handing out free money? I was dubious when Rudd was giving away the $500. Rachel still bought that sewing machine with that money, and it still hasn't made me a shirt. I lie, she has all the time, and she's complaining that I haven't worn it in a video, so it'll come up soon. Back to the article. At a second meeting of the owners last night, and this is from the 29th, so it's a few days old, a number of them told News.com they declined to take funds offered by the state government to pay for temporary accommodation. This is because the payment is an interest-free loan, which they fear they'll personally have to pay back, breaking their already overstretched budgets. Can you take the interest-free loan and then put it in a bank account and earn no interest either? Yay! The government said the assistance package for residents would be recouped once investigators could sort through the spaghetti mess of blame shifting and finger pointing about who is responsible for faults at the tower. Generally, in cases where residential buildings have fallen out of warranty, the cost is handed back to the owners. Residents of the cracking residential tower have been forced to stay with family, friends and in hotels since an emergency evacuation on June the 14th, caused by rapid deterioration in the building basement area of the building. News.com.au understands there is more than one defect site within the troubled tower, and engineers are now focusing on changes to the water table as they try to establish the source of the building's degradation. And I've received some information about the building next door, and we'll have a look at that in a later video. Someone's actually found the drawings for me. Amazing person that I think should become a PI. Anyway, future costs to repair the building to be shared by the owners have been estimated at over $5 million. Owners at Thursday's meeting were told engineers would require another 4 weeks to complete a full report as they collect more data. John Higgins, a unit owner and real estate agent, told news.com.au, last night a fellow owner he knows has been forced to take 2 days stress leave because of the increasingly burdensome situation. Yeah, well, I can completely appreciate that. I can completely appreciate that. This would be an insanely stressful situation for these people. And this is your home. This is where you're meant to get away from stress. It's where you're meant to come and just relax and chill. She needs her apartment rented out, Mr. Higgins told News.com. She can't hold on another month. It's not fair. Yep, it's not fair. Mr. Higgins said of engineering advice that the building would be monitored on a month-to-month basis moving forward. We're being told it could be up to a year now that it may be vacant. Up to a year. Up to a year. And here you go, they've got the survey equipment here. Photos of the meetings. So Brian Tucker, an apartment owner and surveyor, last night told reporters that someone should be held responsible for the debacle. Well, here you go. He's a professional. He's a professional. What if he's a director of his own company? And hopefully he'd have enough money, but just say he had to go bust. So yeah. He reiterated that if there was no successful claim against a liable party, he, as an owner, would be held accountable for all costs and would be forced to repay the government for any money he took over this period. It's very frustrating. There's a lot of unanswered engineering questions that are still very frustrating, Mr. Tucker, who works as a surveyor, told reporters last night. People that are certifying these buildings are not accountable, as are engineers who are not registered with the unique body. Okay, I know they're not in your state, but I would guarantee you if they're decent-sized firms, they'll be registered in other states. That's not going to make these problems go away, guys. It's not, I'm sorry, but it's not going to make these issues go away. We've got some fundamental issues in our construction industry. And, I mean, look at yesterday, the video I did on foreign investment. And I'll write here 7.7 to put a link to it. And you can see just how overheated this residential sector was in Sydney. It's just insane. And Melbourne. Just insane. And I know that's out of the time frame for this building. But so it's very frustrating when certifiers can set up a company, do certifications, and then close down the company. Yeah, you can, but if you have records and they're negligent, you can sue them personally. You can't. As a professional, well, as an architect, I can't set up a little company and shut it down. I can still be now put under the Act. So I need to look up the Certifiers Act because that is surprising. If that's 100% accurate, if any certifiers are watching, could you let me know? Because honestly, I'd be shocked if you could do that. They said payments laid out by the government in the form of interest-free loans for temporary accommodation will add to their already mounting fees, adding more pressure to already stretched budgets. The owners last week agreed to fork out $1.1 million to pay for emergency remedial works, which included thousands in legal fees and employing a highly specialized team of engineers to monitor the building. The engineers, who specialize in remedial and diagnostic engineering, have now spent 2 weeks monitoring the building with electronic equipment. A source told news.com.au the previous damage to the building over the last 12 to 18 months led to a previous dispute with the Owners Corp, where one owner reportedly previously paid $40,000 for structural repairs to the building in 2018. Who has that kind of money? A source connected to Mascot Towers told news.com.au. Yeah, that's it. You have to borrow it. A lot of people will have to borrow it. Don't worry. At least interest rates are low. Oh, this is really... I need a coffee, guys. This is depressing, isn't it? Since the evacuation, the engineers have waited for documents outlining details of the buildings, detailed structural plans, and geotechnical and hydraulic reports. These documents were dated back to 2004. Had to be retrieved by Bayside Council from Canberra. So they archived them. This is why we need to have this stuff, all this information stored away from councils on the cloud. On the cloud. Maybe a crypto solution. Yeah. Just wait for the Heiser E20 token for document storage for construction projects. Just wait. It's coming. I'll put an ICO out. Hold on to your credit cards, guys. While I'm kidding, by the way, while a large amount of the documents have now been retrieved, there are still some outstanding documents being sought by engineers. Well, yeah, it can be a nightmare. I've tried to get these type of documents on jobs before, and it can be a nightmare to find them. It really can. Strata spokesman Patrick Maguire said the group had no criticisms of the local council for the time period it took to retrieve the documents, but offered that the time taken had caused slight irritation. Mr. Maguire said the building was showing signs of stabilizing, according to engineers who continued to work right up to last night's meeting at a hotel in Mascot. Okay, so we can see here that this is putting pressure on people. But here's another article that I'd like to talk about. Oh, well, let's first refresh this. I mentioned this comment in a previous video I did, where Leslie J. Kennedy shared it online as an ex-owner and attendee at all of the Strata Committee meetings. I know these cracks and issues were there long before now, since year two after they'd finished the building. There are huge cracks above where my car was parked, spanning the entire level. These were brought to the committee's attention numerous times whilst the building was under warranty. Many problems existed before today. One would hope the committee has this documented, but it's too late now. Okay, so let's just remember Leslie's comment here, and we'll have a look here at what Channel 7 shared. So the Mascot Towers twist. Problems with apartment block first exposed in 2011. So, new details about the structural damage at Mascot Towers have emerged, with 7 News learning the building started cracking at least 8 years ago. 8 years ago. And this is from the 28th. So this is the day before that previous article we just read. The building was evacuated on June 14th over cracking in its primary support structure and facade masonry. Residents of 132 units have since been forced to stay elsewhere, with costs adding up as authorities scramble to determine who was culpable. At a meeting held with around 250 owners on Thursday, it was revealed owners struck a deal with the builder in 2015, accepting $750,000 from the builder to waive any responsibilities for ongoing defects. Let that just sink in. Let that just sink in. $750,000, 750 grand. So the cost of a 1-bedroom apartment near the airport in Sydney, built on swampland, but still, that's decent money. You know, you could buy some decent coin or Bitcoin or gold, but still, they accepted that to waive any responsibility for ongoing defects. Now, this is where I've just heard about this. It kind of ties in to Leslie's comment here. I'd love to get my hands on these meeting minutes, honestly. If anyone has them, please send them my way, because I think it'll be interesting to go through it. But if they accepted this, can they waive their responsibility for ongoing defects? I mean, I guess they can if they make an agreement based on it. But that's just insane. Did they get greedy? What happened to the money? Was it already spent? And these additional defects. So that's a bombshell. And the problems were first exposed in 2011. Still, recent groundwater changes are a focus for engineers who want to look at the foundations of neighbouring peak towers to ensure they comply. Evacuated residents of Mascot Towers are unlikely to return home in the short term, as engineers work to pinpoint the cause of the building's problems. So it was known about in 2015. In 2011, but in 2015 they cashed out. Which is fine. That's up to owners to do it. But say you bought this building, like the person who bought it the month before they were evacuated. Were they aware of this deal? Would that have been would your lawyer, say you paid $500 for a lawyer to do an inspection on all the documents, would they have gone to this level of they have studied the minutes back to 2015 to that extent to be aware of this? Now, let me put it out there. Let me just put an argument to you. Say you're an owner-builder. If you're doing an owner-builder, that needs to be recorded on the title. Should deals like this be recorded on the title? I mean, how else are you going to know about it? That is a huge bloody red flag. If you're taking money for defects to you know, how much of the liability have they removed from the builder? Waive any responsibility for ongoing defects. So this sounds like it's all of them, but I mean, it's a news article, so you can't trust it. But damn, bloody, oh. So yeah, that's crazy. So, and here's another one where owners are considering filing for bankruptcy. She can't hold on another month. Desperate Mascot Towers unit owner consider filing for bankruptcy after agreeing to pay more than $1 million. The owner of units in the cracking Mascot Towers are considering filing for bankruptcy as costs continue to skyrocket. The 131 apartments in the tower, yada, 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 have been empty since June. So yeah, this is the same thing that we're going on. So guys, I mean, this is really concerning. This is really concerning. And this, I would say, is even more unfair to all the people who have bought past 2015. Past 2015. So I don't know how you would make sure you'd find little things like this. You would have to, how many years do you have to go back in the right to the beginning of the building and find out anything like this? Yeah. And then, I mean, then you need to look at what this money was received for, what the defects for, what, you know, clauses were in the contract. Maybe get the title deed that they signed. Or so yeah. Anyway, guys, I thought I would share that with you because this is worrying, and it seems really concerning for everyone involved. So please let me know what you think in the comments. How would you make sure people highlight issues like this? Do you think this is a warning sign? Do you think it's a warning sign? If you were in this building, would you take the money and absorb the defects? Anyway, guys, please like, share, and subscribe. Ding the bell to see my daily updates, and I will see you all again later. Take care, everyone.